If you wake up with stiff joints, sore fingers, or knees that feel like they belong to someone 20 years older, you already know arthritis isn't just about age. It's about inflammation, silent, slow, and fed by what you eat every single day. Most people believe arthritis is a wear and tear problem, that their joints are simply old. But the truth is, your body never stops rebuilding itself. What decides whether you feel pain or freedom isn't age, it's chemistry. And that chemistry is shaped by food. Every bite you take can either calm inflammation or ignite it. The tragedy is that many foods marketed as healthy are actually feeding the very fire that keeps your joints swollen and aching. People try supplements, creams, or even injections, but until the root cause, the inflammatory storm inside, is addressed, relief stays temporary. The food on your plate might be doing more damage than the disease itself. Once you learn which foods trigger inflammation and what to replace them with, the healing process begins naturally. Your joints are not doomed. They're waiting for you to change the fuel you give them. Let's start with the first truth no one talks about. Arthritis is not just a joint condition. It's a metabolic one. The same inflammation that stiffens your knees can clog your arteries or fog your brain. It's systemic. When you eat processed sugars, refined oils, or damaged fats, your immune system reacts as if you've been injured. It sends chemical messengers, cytokines, to fight the threat, and those cytokines don't stay local. They travel, inflaming everything in their path, including the soft cartilage that cushions your bones. Over time, the body begins attacking itself, mistaking constant irritation for an infection. Sugar is the first and most powerful fuel for this fire. Every sweet drink, pastry, or hidden sugar in sauces spikes insulin and triggers the release of inflammatory chemicals. When insulin rises too often, your body becomes resistant, leading to chronic inflammation. That's why people with arthritis often also battle fatigue, brain fog, or belly fat. The same root cause drives them all. Replacing refined sugar with natural sweetness from whole fruits, especially berries, gives your body antioxidants instead of acids. The difference is night and day. Less swelling, faster recovery, and steadier energy. Next is refined flour, the silent twin of sugar. White bread, pasta, pastries, and crackers break down into glucose almost instantly. They raise your blood sugar just like candy does, keeping your joints bathed in inflammatory molecules. Most people don't realize that cutting refined carbs for just 2 weeks can noticeably reduce morning stiffness. Swap refined grains for fiber-rich options like quinoa, oats, or sweet potatoes. They digest slowly, balance blood sugar, and deliver minerals that your joints need to rebuild collagen. Your body can only repair when its energy is steady, not swinging up and down all day. The third hidden culprit is vegetable oil, those bottles labeled heart healthy that sit on supermarket shelves. Corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower, safflower, and canola sound harmless, but they're loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. The body needs a small amount of omega-6, but modern diets push the ratio far beyond balance. Too much omega-6 compared to omega-3 turns your body into an inflammation factory. It's one of the biggest drivers of joint pain today. Replace those oils with olive oil, avocado oil, or small amounts of coconut oil. They calm inflammation rather than feeding it, and they help your cells build healthier membranes. Inflammation begins at the cell level, not the joint level. Another food that sneaks up on people with arthritis is processed meat. Sausages, deli slices, bacon, or hot dogs. These are filled with preservatives like nitrates and advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which form when food is overcooked or processed. AGEs bind to collagen and make it stiff, brittle, and inflamed. The cartilage in your joints is mostly collagen. When it becomes stiff, you lose flexibility and cushioning. Choosing grass-fed meat, fish, or plant proteins drastically reduces your exposure to these compounds. When you eat cleaner protein, your body stops fighting food and starts using it for repair. Even dairy, a staple in most diets, can be problematic for many arthritis sufferers. For some people, the proteins in cow's milk, especially casein and A1 beta-casein, act like mild irritants. They trigger the immune system and lead to increased mucus, joint swelling, or fatigue. Not everyone reacts this way, but if you do, you'll feel it in a few days. Switching to fermented dairy like yogurt or kefir often helps, because the probiotics partially break down those proteins and support gut health. Goat or sheep dairy may also be better tolerated. The goal isn't to eliminate everything forever. It's to listen to your body and find what inflames you. The gut is where much of this battle is fought. 70% of your immune system lives there, constantly deciding what's friend and what's foe. If your gut lining is damaged, a condition called leaky gut, undigested food particles slip into your bloodstream. Your immune system attacks them, creating more inflammation. Gluten found in wheat, barley, and rye is one of the biggest culprits. Even if you're not gluten intolerant, it can increase gut permeability and spark inflammation in joints. Try a 30-day gluten-free period and see how your body feels. For many, pain lessens, stiffness eases, and energy returns within weeks. Arthritis doesn't happen overnight, and neither does healing. But when you remove the daily triggers, your immune system can finally stand down. Imagine what happens when you stop pouring gasoline on a fire. It doesn't go out instantly, but it starts calming down. That's what removing inflammatory foods does. Within days, your joints retain less fluid. Within weeks, movement becomes easier. Within months, the regeneration process begins. Cartilage is slow to rebuild, but it's alive. It can renew when the inflammation stops destroying it. Food is information. Every meal sends instructions to your body, to inflame or to heal. Most people never connect the dots because pain feels mechanical, not metabolic. But joints are living tissues, responding to hormones, nutrients, and signals from your gut and bloodstream. Changing what you eat changes what they feel. That's why two people with the same diagnosis can live completely different lives. One stiff and exhausted, the other mobile and energetic. The difference isn't luck, it's knowledge. Arthritis pain is a teacher disguised as discomfort. It's your body's way of saying, "Stop feeding me the things that hurt me." Once you start listening, everything changes. You realize it's not your age that's limiting you, it's inflammation. And inflammation isn't destiny. It's a choice. Each day you choose foods that cool rather than inflame. Your body moves one step closer to balance. Inflammation can't survive in an environment of steady blood sugar, healthy fats, and nutrient-dense meals. Healing arthritis begins with curiosity, not fear. Start observing how your joints feel after meals, how certain foods cause puffiness or stiffness the next morning. Your body gives feedback faster than any lab test. Write it down. Track your reactions. When you find your personal triggers, removing them becomes motivation, not restriction. You'll want to eat better because you'll finally feel the difference: light, mobile, pain-free mornings that remind you what living should feel like. If you've already started cutting back on sugar, refined flour, vegetable oils, processed meat, dairy, and gluten, you've removed most of the daily fuel that keeps inflammation alive. But there are still two major categories of food that quietly keep arthritis active, even when everything else seems fine. These are the foods most people never suspect because they're marketed as healthy. Yet for anyone living with joint pain, they can be the final barrier between relief and recovery. The first is the group known as nightshades: tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplants. For some people, especially those with autoimmune or inflammatory conditions, compounds in these vegetables called alkaloids can irritate the gut lining and trigger joint flare-ups. Not everyone reacts the same way, but for those who do, the effect is unmistakable. You might wake up with swollen fingers after eating tomato sauce or find your knees aching after a serving of fries or grilled peppers. The reason lies in how solanine, a natural defense chemical found in nightshades, interacts with your immune system. It's harmless for most people but can provoke inflammation in sensitive individuals. The key isn't to fear vegetables, it's to test awareness. If you remove nightshades for a few weeks and then reintroduce them one at a time, your body will tell you instantly which ones are trouble. For many, replacing them with root vegetables like sweet potatoes, turnips, or carrots makes a huge difference in how they feel. The second food group to reconsider is alcohol. Alcohol dehydrates the body, damages the gut barrier, and burdens the liver, the very organ responsible for clearing inflammatory toxins. Even small amounts consumed regularly can stall your healing process. It also amplifies the effects of sugar and refined foods, creating a perfect storm of oxidative stress. When your liver is inflamed, it can't filter uric acid effectively, and those crystals can settle into joints, making the pain worse. Arthritis thrives in an acidic, dehydrated environment, and alcohol delivers both. Swapping drinks for sparkling water with lemon or herbal teas not only relieves the liver but floods the body with antioxidants instead of toxins. Within a few weeks of skipping alcohol, people often notice their hands and feet feel less puffy, their sleep improves, and their joints recover faster after movement. So now that we've covered the 7 foods to stop eating, let's talk about what to eat instead. Because healing isn't just about subtraction, it's about addition. You can't fight inflammation on an empty plate. Your body needs nutrients to rebuild cartilage, strengthen bones, and balance the immune system. The first key food group for that purpose is omega-3 rich fats. Wild salmon, sardines, flaxseed, chia seeds, and walnuts deliver anti-inflammatory power straight to your joints. Omega-3s balance the omega-6 fats you've eliminated by dropping vegetable oils. This balance reduces cytokine activity, the chemical messengers that make your joints swell. Even a few servings a week can create a noticeable difference in stiffness and flexibility. Next are antioxidants, the body's natural shield against inflammation. Deeply colored vegetables and fruits, blueberries, spinach, kale, broccoli, beetroot, and pomegranate, neutralize free radicals that damage cartilage. They don't just stop pain. They slow the progression of joint degeneration itself. The richer the color of your food, the more protective compounds it holds. Think of every meal as a paint palette for your cells. Red for circulation, green for detoxification, purple for repair, yellow for energy. Protein matters more than most people realize. Joints and connective tissues are made primarily of collagen, which your body builds from amino acids like glycine and proline. Many arthritis sufferers eat too little high-quality protein, fearing it might worsen inflammation, when in fact the right type does the opposite. Clean proteins from fish, eggs, legumes, or lean poultry help rebuild worn tissues and maintain strength. Bone broth is especially valuable. It's rich in collagen peptides that nourish your cartilage directly. A cup a day can make your joints feel less fragile within weeks. Magnesium is another nutrient most people overlook, yet it's essential for relaxing muscles and balancing inflammation. When you're low on magnesium, your joints feel tighter, your sleep worsens, and recovery slows. Dark leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and avocado are excellent sources. Paired with potassium-rich foods like bananas, beets, and coconut water, they help flush out sodium and excess fluid that accumulate around inflamed joints. If you often wake up with swollen fingers or ankles, that's your body asking for this mineral balance. Then there's vitamin D, the silent supporter of bone and immune health. Low vitamin D levels are strongly linked to increased arthritis pain. Sunlight is the best source, but during colder months, supplementation or foods like egg yolks, mushrooms, and fatty fish can help maintain healthy levels. When vitamin D is balanced, calcium moves into your bones instead of staying in soft tissues where it can create stiffness. It's the difference between strong bones and calcified joints. Don't forget about your gut. Every anti-inflammatory plan starts there. Fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, and yogurt populate your gut with friendly bacteria that regulate your immune system. These microbes produce short-chain fatty acids that directly calm inflammation throughout your body. A healthy gut means a calmer immune system and fewer mistaken attacks on your own tissues. Many people find that once their digestion improves, their joint pain follows almost automatically. Herbs and spices can be powerful tools too. Turmeric, ginger, and garlic act like natural anti-inflammatory drugs without side effects. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, blocks the same pathways as some pain medications but without harming your stomach. Ginger improves circulation, and garlic helps detoxify the liver. Adding them to your meals daily, either fresh or powdered, keeps inflammation in check naturally. Hydration completes the foundation. Joints are surrounded by synovial fluid, which acts like oil in an engine. Without enough water, that fluid becomes thick and sticky, and movement feels like grinding. Drinking water steadily throughout the day, not just in large gulps, keeps joints lubricated. Herbal teas, bone broth, and mineral water all count toward this goal. When hydration and nutrients meet, your cartilage regains flexibility and every step feels smoother. Healing from arthritis is not about perfection. It's about momentum. Each small change adds up. Every meal without sugar, every day with movement, every glass of water is a step away from inflammation. Pain doesn't vanish overnight, but it fades when you stop feeding it. What replaces that pain is clarity. Clearer movement, clearer energy, clearer awareness of how powerful food really is. Your body is always communicating. Inflammation is simply one of its loudest messages. When you listen, the message softens. The journey to pain-free living isn't about avoiding joy or flavor. It's about finding foods that support joy instead of stealing it. The first time you wake up without stiffness, you'll realize the reward was never about restriction. It was about freedom. Your fork is the most powerful anti-inflammatory medicine you'll ever hold. Once you understand how food drives inflammation, the next step is consistency, turning this knowledge into a way of living instead of a short-term fix. Healing from arthritis isn't a sprint. It's a slow rebuilding process, but every day that you eat for healing, your body thanks you in its own language. Less morning stiffness, deeper sleep, better mood, clearer focus. These aren't coincidences, they're signs your chemistry is changing. When inflammation fades, everything begins to align again. The first key to keeping this lifestyle sustainable is simplicity. Most people fail not because they lack willpower, but because they overcomplicate the process. Don't think of your meals as anti-arthritis diets. Think of them as nourishment for your cells. You don't have to chase exotic superfoods. You just have to remove the daily irritants and replace them with real food. A plate filled with colorful vegetables, clean proteins, and healthy fats is medicine disguised as dinner. Start with breakfast. Swap sugary cereals for a vegetable omelet cooked in olive oil. For lunch, choose salmon or grilled chicken with greens. For dinner, try bone broth soup with quinoa and steamed vegetables. You're not dieting. You're teaching your immune system to relax. Movement is the next medicine. Joints are designed to move, and when you stop using them, they stiffen faster. Gentle movement pumps nutrients into your cartilage and keeps synovial fluid circulating. Walking, swimming, cycling, or even stretching for 10 minutes in the morning can make a tremendous difference. You don't need aggressive workouts. Your goal is circulation, not competition. Each movement you make tells your body that the joint is still needed, and your body responds by keeping it nourished. The less you move, the less it invests in repair. Movement is permission for regeneration. Stress is the invisible food your body digests every day, and it's more inflammatory than sugar. Chronic stress releases cortisol, which suppresses healing and increases inflammation markers throughout the body. People under constant stress often experience more flare-ups, even when their diet is perfect. Learning to breathe deeply, meditate, or simply disconnect for short periods can lower stress hormones dramatically. 10 minutes of calm breathing can reduce inflammation more than most painkillers can. Healing doesn't only happen in your body, it starts in your mind. Sleep is your nightly reset. While you sleep, your body repairs tissues, detoxifies waste, and calms the immune system. When you stay up late scrolling or eating, your body loses that recovery window. Make sleep non-negotiable. Keep your room cool and dark. Avoid screens an hour before bed and go to sleep at the same time every night. Your joints will feel the difference. People often underestimate how powerful rest is for healing. Pain tolerance improves, inflammation drops, and energy returns. Consistent sleep is like an invisible anti-inflammatory therapy that costs nothing. Hydration also ties into recovery. Dehydration thickens synovial fluid and slows nutrient transport. Every glass of clean water thins inflammation slightly by helping your kidneys flush out toxins. Add a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to improve absorption. If you drink coffee, balance it with an extra glass of water for each cup. Hydration is a constant dialogue between your body and your habits. Listen closely. If you feel fatigue or dryness, that's your reminder to replenish. When it comes to supplements, they can support but never replace a good diet. The best researched nutrients for arthritis include omega-3 fatty acids, curcumin, collagen peptides, and vitamin D3 combined with K2. They act as helpers, not heroes. If your meals are consistent, supplements can speed things up, but they cannot outwork bad eating. Many people find that once they truly nourish themselves, they need fewer external aids. Your body is capable of producing its own anti-inflammatory molecules when given the right inputs. Another powerful but overlooked practice is intermittent fasting. When you give your body regular breaks from digestion, it uses that energy to repair tissues instead. Fasting lowers insulin, reduces oxidative stress, and improves autophagy, the cellular cleanup process. A simple 12-hour overnight fast is enough to trigger repair. Eat dinner at 7, skip late-night snacks, and have breakfast at 7 the next morning. You'll notice less morning stiffness and better joint mobility within weeks. Your body heals best when it isn't constantly processing food. Social support makes everything easier. Healing feels less heavy when you're surrounded by people who understand. Share your journey with family or friends, not to preach but to inspire. Cook together, experiment with new recipes, and celebrate progress. Even if they don't have arthritis, the benefits of anti-inflammatory eating help everyone. More energy, better focus, and stronger immunity. When you create a supportive environment, success becomes natural instead of forced. Be patient with your progress. The human body works in seasons, not seconds. For years it's been inflamed. It may take months to fully cool down. Don't get discouraged by minor flare-ups. Healing is rarely linear. You might feel better one week and sore the next. That doesn't mean it's not working. It means your body is still balancing itself. Track your food and symptoms in a journal. You'll start to see patterns that reveal your personal triggers. Awareness replaces confusion. The more you understand your own rhythms, the easier it becomes to stay in control. Over time, something magical happens. You stop thinking about arthritis altogether. The stiffness that once defined your mornings becomes a memory. You start moving freely again, not because a pill fixed you, but because you took responsibility for what you feed your body. That sense of control, that quiet confidence is the real cure. Pain steals focus, but healing gives it back. Your body is resilient beyond imagination. It knows how to repair, how to balance, how to thrive. Arthritis isn't a life sentence. It's a signal that your system is overloaded and begging for relief. Once you provide that relief, through real food, consistent rest, gentle movement, and a calm mind, your joints respond. They stop inflaming because they no longer need to defend themselves. Your body always chooses healing when you stop standing in its way. In the end, the foods you remove matter, but what you add matters even more. Add color to your plate, gratitude to your day, movement to your mornings, and calm to your evenings. When you combine them, inflammation has nowhere to live. Every step you take, every choice you make, becomes part of the recovery process. You're not chasing pain relief anymore, you're creating health. Remember this, the human body doesn't get old. It gets imbalanced. Bring it back into balance and it rewards you with vitality, clarity, and motion. The fork in your hand holds more power than any prescription. Each bite is either fuel for inflammation or a message of healing. Choose wisely, stay consistent, and your joints will tell you that you made the right choice. Healing arthritis starts in the mind, continues in the kitchen, and shows up in every move you make afterward. That's how true recovery works, from awareness to action, from action to freedom. Your body already knows what to do. Now it's time to trust it and let healing begin.